We love to hear it. All right, let's start the stream. Apparently my voice is already bad, and it is the start of my day of talking the entire time. Hello. Okay, who was responsible for telling me that light was on? Ooh, we're in big trouble. Okay, all right. Is that better? Also, is it freezing cold in this classroom? No? It's freezing cold in your room. Okay. Yeah, you should bully them about that. But you can also live in Ford. There's people that live here.
I bullied them about a month ago.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Keep bullying. I think I saw an idea once on Al Gore's internet that said we can't underestimate the damage that has been done to our society by discouraging bullying. And I didn't really know how to think about that. But it is true that there are some things that don't happen anymore that used to happen when people got bullied into doing them. So I think recycling was a big win. Everyone just got bullied into recycling. No one cared about it, right? So anyways, I'm anti-bullying, but I'm pro doing what you're supposed to do, which involves making sure the dorms have heat, right? So anyways, you should bully me about things if you need to. The problem set thing reminds me of an announcement. I did not get grades back on problem set 4 in under 168 hours, which is humiliating. So there's grading amnesty on that. I sent you feedback if you did something that I thought was silly. Basically, everyone that turned it in did a good job, except for a few cases where probably there were things that would have been helpful for you to know before you started working on Breakout. So I sent you a note on that, and it's probably too late if you got one of those messages. Above 90% of the class earned 100% on problem set 4, and the rest of you, it's that was my fault. So I've just bumped your scores up. And I bring that up because there's a problem set 5, and this one I will definitely remember. It's my job to grade those. So I promise this time I will remember. And problem set 5 is extremely useful for image shop. So go ahead and get started on that. I don't know if you've started on it yet, but my recommendation is to start around now. And then basically try and be done with it in time that you're well rested and at the top of your game when it's time to start image shop. I don't think I've posted image shop yet, and I don't think I've gone over it yet, but it'll probably be ready on Friday. So we've kind of smooshed the last problem set and the next project together. There are sections today and tomorrow. I don't remember what they're on this week. Today, we're basically doing two things, but they're kind of important. And I also have a little bit of special bonus lecture content that I'm expecting roughly half of you to love and half of you to hate. So just decide now which one of those halves you want to be in, and then I'll show you the content later, and you can decide if you were correct. There's these things called files. Files live on your computer. Hopefully by now we all know about .py Python files, right? But there's other kinds of files. And pretty soon we're going to start wanting to deal with .png portable network graphic files, and you can't open a portable network graphic file in a text editor because it just looks like absolute nonsense. But you'll need to deal with files of this type on future assignments, including probably the remaining midterm and the final. And then you also, I think it is useful to be able to write to a file, so we are going to cover that today as well. Let's see if I can get everything working. Okay, so I think I teased this at the end of last class, where I said you can display an image from a file in PGL using Gimage, file name, XY. And it's possible the XY is optional. You might be able to just leave them out with Gimages. You might actually be able to leave them out with everything. There might be default sizes for all this stuff. I don't actually remember. And generally speaking, in the olden days, all of the photos were JPEGs, and in the newen days, they are all portable network graphics. I gave a talk in a different class earlier this semester where I said, I bet every file you can find on the internet is a PNG, and then I looked for files for 5 minutes and only found JPEGs. So I guess I'm wrong about that, but I know where to find PNGs, so I'm going to successfully find one today for sure on the first try. And the place you can find PNGs is on this next slide. That is a PNG image. That's not a JPEG. This is my cat, Juniper. It's actually very sad. Juniper is no longer with me, but I didn't want to change the slides, and I love her very much. So this was her around this time last year, and that's really what she looked like in real life. One of the ways you can tell this is a PNG image is that it says so. If I open this link in new tab, will it work? Okay. And so this is a PNG image that is on the internet. Okay. And you can zoom in, and it doesn't really zoom in that much because this image is about the size of the screen already. This is also the nicest picture I've ever taken with my camera phone, just so you know. Here is an image that I can use in class today. There's a few things I can do with this image, but one example I'll just show you is I can go ahead and download it. So I'm going to right-click this, and I think on probably all of your computers, either right-click or perhaps command-click on Apple will work. And I can either open the image in new tab, or I can save the image as something. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. When I open this window, I think you have probably downloaded files before. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. I don't know. I'm actually going to take some effort to save this in a place I want it to be. And probably, for me, that in this class, that's going to be in my downloads folder. Why is that? Because that's where I've been downloading the code for this class. So I'm going to click over here on the downloads folder. Nope, I clicked on music by accident. Here's the downloads folder. Let's see. Do I care more about one of these than another? I'm going to go into the practice midterm because I think there's a PGL in there, and that might be what I need. And I'm going to go ahead and save this cat.png into my practice midterm, or you can save it into a homework folder or a project folder or whatever you like. So I will go ahead and save that. And that is one way to get the file on my computer. Now, how do I find that file? Well, I think I can open VS Code. Oh, I'm in Wordle main. That's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and open. How do I open things? File, open folder. I'm going to change to the folder that I downloaded in, which I think is Practice 1 Midterm. Go ahead and open this. Okay, there's a lot of nonsense here. And if I do that, I can come over here and see this is Practice Midterm, which you're familiar with. And then there I can look at the pictures of cats inside VS Code, right? So VS Code, now a good program because we can use it to look at pictures of cats. Before this, we only could use it to look at code, and that was no good. But now we can use it to look at cats, so now we like it again. And so this is a way to get files off of the internet into your computer. There's also the cool way to do it, and the cool way to do it is without clicking. It's you use Python or the command line. So here's another way. Here's my cat. Let's see. Let's find another image. I can spell Wikipedia on the first try, for the record. I think there's usually like an image of the day. Okay, we're going to use this image of a deer lady. Okay, I'm going to open this image in a new tab rather than saving the image. And here is the image I have. We'll see that it ends in .jpg. I'm eating my words. I was pretty sure this would end in .png. That's okay. I am going to copy paste this URL. And I am going to open the terminal. There's a few ways to open the terminal. One of them is okay. So if I run this Python file, and then I close the graphics window, what I get back here is a place I can type. And I can type various things, such as I can type Python 3 magic.py, and the code runs again. Or I can type just Python 3, and then I can print hello world. We recall last class we found out that this terminal didn't work very well. I'm going to exit Python, and I'm going to use a new command, which is instead of Python, I'm going to use curl. I don't know what curl stands for. The URL part stands for URL addresses. C, I don't know, it stands for something. So I'm going to curl the Wikipedia image of the day. And so I pasted that in. And, well, I can just press enter here and we can see what happens. So this didn't really work or do anything. It gave me some warnings. But it did tell me to use, can I make this big? Okay. It did tell me to use output. So if I do output, we'll call this wiki.jpg. Then a bunch of stuff is coming up on my screen, right? But again, most of the nonsense on your screen is this URL, which is kind of like an ugly URL. And most images have kind of an ugly URL. So I went and I used that command, and I specified the output as wiki.jpg. And now if I come over here, I also have wiki.jpg saved into the same folder. So there's two good ways to get files into the folder where you are doing your Python stuff. And I will show us a third way. Let's go find another image on Wikipedia. We're going to look at the Scilly Navy disaster. I'm going to open this image in a new tab, and I sure hope, oh gosh, it's a JPEG again. Okay, I'm in shambles. Okay, so what is the third way we can do this? You also can do this directly from inside Python, and it's just there's kind of a goofy way to do it. So anything that you can do at the command line, like here, like Python magic.py, you can also do from inside a Python file. So I'm going to start working in Magic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, first we'll save the file name. This is pretty long. I'm not going to turn on word wrap. I don't think it matters what this is, but it's on Wikipedia somewhere. There's a module that is somewhat similar to, so I can import PGL, but I can also import OS, which stands for operating system. The operating system is one way to refer to the command line, so it's kind of all the same thing. And then I can say operating system.system, and any text I write inside these brackets will do the same thing as if I wrote it directly at the command line. So for example, I can say Python magic.py, and then when I run this program, we'll print something first. We'll do solved. I'm magic.py. What emoji are we feeling today? Maybe like this one? Like, yeah, okay. So what happens is it prints out I'm magic.py, and then it runs solved.py, which has different features than magic.py. Instead of doing that, we can run curl, we can run file name, and then we can specify the output as, what should we call this file? It's like ship.jpg. Okay. Takes at most one argument, 3 given. Oh, I have to turn this into a string. Okay. We're going to curl the file name. And I should go ahead and print this first. Make sure I know what I'm getting myself into. So I think this is the command that I'm going to print. Or I'm going to call it command. And then we'll just print it, and then we'll os.system it. Command. Command. So what do we see? We see some of the same stuff popping up as happened when we downloaded our file earlier. And then we can also come over here, and we can see if we have ship. And we do. We have ship.jpg. It's .jpg. It's not .png. I'm sorry. And here is a way to get a ship on your computer. So these are ways to get access to files. Why am I bringing this up? So the first time I taught this class, everyone was like, it's unfortunate that it's impossible to use a file from inside Python. I was like, I don't think that's true. Then the other thing that came up is, I downloaded the file, but I don't know where it is on my computer. That is also against the law. I showed you 3 ways to get it into the right place today, okay? Now, you're allowed to forget all of these things, but unfortunately, I have outsmarted all of you by cleverly recording this lecture and posting the slides online. So now ignorance is no longer an excuse, and if you say that you don't know how to use images in Python, you'll be taken directly to liar jail, which is an imaginary place that doesn't exist because lying is allowed. Okay, so those are files. You can do some really, really cursed stuff with files. For example, this script here downloads PGL and then imports PGL after downloading it. So this is where PGL lives. It's off screen. Well, here, I'll show you. The great thing about this is you can run it anywhere on your system. So, okay. Currently, these files are in some location. I'm just going to, make a new file somewhere. I'm going to we're going to do this in my music folder, okay? We all love music here. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Okay. I'm going to make a Python file. If I import PGL here, what's going to happen? Oh, I have to, we're going to call this dothing.py. Okay. Wow, look at all of these nice things that popped up. Okay. So if I import PGL here, oh, I already have yellow squiggles, right? Oh no, there's no module named PGL. And of course there isn't a module named PGL. I'm in my music folder. There's no portable graphics library in my music folder. Not to worry, I have an ingenious plan. What's going on here? Well, why is that all on one line? Okay, that's terrible. Okay. Copy this. Let's see, from, close that. Okay. So what's going on here? I'm importing system from OS. There's different ways to do that. Let's just import OS. And then we'll say os.system. Okay. I'm going to curl. What am I going to curl? I'm going to curl this PGL file. I'm going to show you what this looks like on the internet as well. So this is what I'm curling. This is not a web page. This is raw GitHub user content. And this is just literally a Python file that lives on the internet. These exist and they're around. And you can find them in your various repositories. Let's see if I do 151 magic. There it is. So if I wanted to get this for magic, I wouldn't be able to curl this page, but I can curl the raw page. Moving my mouse around so you can see it. Here's the top of the screen. I'm going to the first line of the code, going over to the code box ends, and then there's a series of boxes there. One of them says raw, and you can download these files. Okay. So here's pgl.py. Then we can look at another file. Copy that. And then there's the kitty cat, right? Okay. So I'm going to also pop this window open, and we're going to see files pop up over here while we run this. Okay. Then, so even though it says PGL doesn't exist, it's going to exist by the time I get to line 6, because in line 3 I'm downloading it. Then I'm going to have some number of pixels. I'm going to create a window. Oh, it's worried about the window? That's because I haven't yet downloaded PGL, but by the time I get to that line of code, it'll be downloaded. And then I can gimage, and then I can glad. Okay, it did crash immediately, and I'm not sure why. I have a plan. I remember on my computer I have to use a special version of the PGL, and I'm using the version that doesn't work on my computer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just, we'll just do like while true 1 + 1 = 1. I don't know. Wait, how do you do true? Is capital? Okay. So I'm just going to make sure this program stops running. And by the way, to keep me honest, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete these files here. So I'm going to send them to the shadow realm. Move to trash. Okay. I'm going to move that to trash. Okay. So this is all broken again, but now it's not going to close immediately, I think. Ooh, it's not displaying the cat. That's probably okay, right? This is still impressive, is it not? Would it be more impressive if I showed the cat?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, why would it not be showing the cat? Oh, I can't close this because it's in an infinite loop. Hold on. Trash can? Oh, okay, that's the cat, but in a different way. Okay. Why do I think this isn't showing the cat? I'm going to put input here because it's easier. And the way this works is that this code will run. Okay, it works now. Oh, I think I was just crashing my computer running an infinite loop. That's fine. That makes sense. Like if you ask someone to do infinity things and then ask them to do something next, they might not get to the first thing, right? Anyways, here, this is not the entire cat, right? As you'll notice, this is part of the cat. But you can see, and this is the crazy thing about cats, this is her back feet, and we can't see her front feet, even though we're looking at the front of the cat. How do they do this, right? That would be like if I walked around on my hands all day. That would be really physically exhausting for me. But this like cute little kitty who weighed like 7 pounds could do it. Anyways, okay. And then what's going on here, this is waiting for me to type something, and then when I press enter, it's done. I think I haven't shown you input yet. It's useful for fixing things that are broken. Okay, so was that fun? Did you all have fun with that? Do you want me to show you a picture of something else to prove that this always works? What would you like to see a picture of that is safe for a classroom? Exactly, right? You didn't actually want to see anything else. Okay. I saw a cool painting recently. And it was this thing, which looks awesome, right? Okay, so let's yoink this image. Okay. So how'd I do that? Right click, open image in new tab. I don't even think you have to do that. You can just copy image link. That should be fine. Okay. Copy image link. What am I going to call this thing? Okay. I'm going to call this. So everyone knows that Babylon's nickname is baby. So I'm going to call this baby.png or .jpg. Okay. And then down here I'm going to show baby.jpg. Okay. So you'll all be impressed if this works, you promise?
Yeah.
That was like the least honest yeah I've ever heard. Oh, it kind of like didn't really fit, right?
You could like scale it something.
Do you think there's a way to scale it?
Yeah.
Okay. What if I just instead do this? I think it's fine. Yeah. Easy. So, yeah. You can always just add pixels and hope it works. Don't tell your section leaders I said that. You should always figure out how many pixels you need. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think what I did... Oh, there's like one thing that was like super sketchy about this. I'm going to see if I can do it. I'm nuking these lines because we no longer need them. I think you can't do this if there's not an active graphics window. So like I would expect that you could still create like an image object without a graphics window. Wait, what is it doing? But like this is impossible for some reason. And that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Because I haven't tried to add the image to the graphics window at all. And the reason this comes up is because what I want to do is I want to make this image, I want to ask for its width and height, and then put it in a graphics window. because then I'm going to make the graphics window of different height, right? But I can't do that. But I can do this. So that's allowed. So I just have like the blank graphics window, right? And now I'm allowed to create an image. Okay, so like, what's the deal with that? Anyway, okay, so that's just something I don't like. I'm telling you, because why not? By the way, this photo is like kind of cool, right? Are we all into this? Is this how you feel on the inside? When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's how my day is going. That's what I thought. And it was like a normal day. It wasn't even an unusual day in any way. Okay. Oh my gosh, someone's watching us. Hi, viewer. Okay. Cool. So, you only need to download it once. That's what I did here. That's why I deleted everything. Okay. And that's how you get a file into PGL. I very rarely load files from my computer. I usually load files from the internet because it's 2025. I think many of the instructions you'll see for the rest of this term ask you to load files from your computer. Not to worry, just curl first and curl once or something, right? Okay. So who here loves ASCII art? Is that still in? Yeah, like maybe a little bit, right? So I thought I would make some ASCII art of my cat, which seems like something that I have the power to do. And is it going to be very good ASCII art? No, because I'm not an artist, and also I don't understand things. But I'm going to make some very, very bad ASCII art of my cat, okay? And specifically what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put like zeros where the cat is and ones where the cat isn't or something. It's like it's not going to be great, okay? But it's going to be fine. So let's suppose we want to convert the image to some text art. How are we going to do this? Okay. So I'm going to start with many of the same things I did previously. I think it's time to cut the screen in half. Do you ever think it's like too bad that it's impossible to have more than one projector in these classrooms? I think about that often. Okay. Oh, I guess we could also do, no, we're going to do cat. We're cat.png in it. Is this going to work? There's cat. Okay. We're just going to probably do like 800 pixels or so. That's fine. Okay. So that's how we're going to look at the cat. Okay. And what are we going to do after we have acquired our cat? Ta-da! Running this again. There's the cat. I'm going to introduce a new method, something that is inside of images, called getPixelArray. I taught you a little bit about pixels last class when we were making gradients, right? So it's the individual tiny square of color. And I'm going to get all of the tiny squares of color. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm just going to leave input last because it caused my computer to stop crashing. You shouldn't need that. It also shouldn't hurt anything if you put it there. So I'm going to say pixels equals image.get. Let's see if it's going to oh, there it is. Yeah, see, it's down here. Computer knows what we're doing. And I could be brave, and I could just print out what pixels is, and we could look at it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll run this. Oh, it's a lot of information. So I'm going to examine pixels and try and figure out what's going on there. Okay, so step one, I'm going to check the type of pixels. And I'm actually no longer going to leave open input because I just want it to close automatically when I'm done. So, pixels is a list. This could be slightly confusing because this does not say getPixelList, it says getPixelArray. Don't worry about it. That's from Java. Java is dead and can no longer hurt us. Or it's still alive and still hurting us. But in this classroom, in this moment, we are safe from Java. You're safe from Java while I'm here. Does that sound good? I will protect you from Java. Okay. I'm not very good at protecting people from Java, but I'm going to try. So anyways, whenever I see a list, the type of pixels is that going to work? The type of pixels is class list. Whenever I see a list, my first question is, what was that scheming, conniving programmer putting in that list? What did they need more than one of, right? Because lists are for people that are greedy and don't know the limits of their own, I don't know, something. Be happy with what you have, but like not too happy, right? Don't be complacent, right? Okay, so I'm going to see what's inside this list, right? I'm going to say the list is full of, and I'm going to take the type of the first thing in the list. So I'm going to look at the 0th element of the list. Oh no. Someone put a bunch of lists inside that list. And this, of course, reminds me of the classical composer Liszt, which is spelled completely differently. Sorry, time for... you all came to college at a liberal arts college, right? It's not my fault I had to bring up Liszt in this class, right? The music department made me do it. I was under duress. Hungarian, right? And if I wanted to display an image of Liszt, I could do that by copying the image link and doing a curl, right? That sounds hard. You don't have to do double output. You can do !o list dot. I don't know what kind of file that is. It's a licensed... I think I'm stealing this. Save as? It's a WebP. Okay, never mind. We actually can't show you a picture of Liszt. Psych! Outsmarted. Go to Wikipedia every time. Wikipedia undefeated. Huge W Wikipedia. Copy image link. Curl. Paste. Liz. It's a PNG! It's a PNG! See? It's a PNG. They exist. Okay. Is it spelled? LSZT? LSZT.png. That work? No, because I didn't do -o. Alright, done. Okay. List. Okay. So, list is a list of list. And this, of course, raises the obvious question, what did they put inside the things that are inside the lists that make up the list of lists, right? List is a list of type pixels 0, which is the first list in the list of lists, and 2 zeros is the first thing in the first list in the lists of lists that represent Franz lists, right? Would this be less confusing if I didn't use Franz list? Maybe, but would we be having as much fun? Probably. So it's a list of integers. A pixel array is a list of lists of integers. And the computer said it, so therefore it must be true, right? This means my computer is capable of critical thinking. Good job, computer. Should we give the computer a hand? I think it was working hard today. Oh, do you think it was us that was working hard? That seems unlikely. Okay, so we've got a list of integers. Back to the slides. Steps through the process. Something we might want to do is we might want to look at these integers. But there's other things we can do as well, which is that we can now see how big our image is by seeing how long these lists are. So let's go ahead and we will now measure the embiggeness of lists. And I'm going to print the length of pixels and the length of pixels 0. And this is a 611 by 500 image. Which of course suggests to me that I should have made my window that size the whole time. I'm going to slap an input here now so that we can see our image. Ooh! Oh, wait. Oh, did I engage in a self-bamboozle? Does anyone see what I did wrong here? This looks completely silly. You're doing this. I switched. I did a switch. I got bamboozled by the old switcheroo. Humiliating. And then what do we say? First try. I love getting things right on the first try. It's way better than getting them right on the 0th try because we zero index, right? Okay, so that's apparently was a real person that actually existed, right? They probably don't make them like that anymore, if I had to guess. Okay. Well, since we're here, right, and we're printing things out, those integers look like this. And let's just look at one of the integers. I'm going to look at which pixel do we want to look at? Because this would be the top leftmost pixel, right? Does this seem like a good pixel to look at? Does anyone want to look at a different pixel? All right, I'm going to look at this one, but if you don't like this pixel, I asked you if you wanted to see another one first, right? Okay. Is this going to run? I don't know how Python works. Okay. Oh, it's a 0. Do we think it was going to be a 0? Here's what I'm thinking, right? Not a whole lot going on up here. Maybe they just tossed a 0 in there. I don't know. I don't get out much. But in my infinite wisdom, I realized you can just put the size of the list in here and then get the pixel in exactly the middle. So that one presumably is right around here. And that thing, that is not a 0. That is something other than 0. In fact, I would argue that this number and 0 are completely different numbers. But they have a lot in common in that they're both numbers. So if you're like me and you loved thinking about hex codes, you're probably looking at that thinking, we spent all last class using hex codes to represent the pixel values in images. And that's not a hex code. What is it? Well, it's something terrible. But that's okay, because lots of things are terrible. And, sorry, I'm not really selling this, am I? This is a much better way to do things than we were doing things last class. All you have to do is we can see how red something is with, I think it's, and I don't remember this for sure, I think you type gimage, which we've never done before. We have never before typed the name of a class instead of the name of a variable. So maybe this is fundamentally weird, right? I hated this a lot, but I have to teach it to you so you can do image shop, which is the next project. Okay. So after typing gimage, I'm going to say get red, and I think I'm going to ask for red pixel equals. I'm just going to use this pixel. I'm going to throw pixel in here. I think this will work. I'll have to check the slides if it doesn't work. Oh, it is 73 red. I think that makes perfect sense to me. Does it? Does it really? You know. We can also check how green it is. Okay, I guess it's less green than red. I would not have guessed that. And then the last thing we can do, what is the third color? Remember, there's only 3 colors. For the love of God, don't say alt rep.
I mean, like, you're the one who brought it up. I wasn't gonna do it.
You weren't gonna do it? Gotta do it to him. Okay, alright. Okay, so this is 73, 57, 34. That makes sense? We all believe that? I'm going to do one final thing. Am I going to do this? Can I do this successfully? Okay. I'm going to print these in hex. 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 Is this code going to work? Why not? Why not put the parentheses at the end? Y'all are so smart, you know how many parentheses to put in your code?
Well, it shows a red parenthesis, which is bad, and because red is bad.
I think I would have gone with the I'm really smart angle.
Well, I'm really smart for noticing that.
Okay.
You're smart enough to know that it's bad.
Whereas you're smart enough to know it's bad. Okay. All
And
right.
then you're smart enough to change it.
Let's make a rectangle. It'll be a rect. I'm going to we'll do 0, 0, 500 divided by 2, 611 divided by 2. So it's going to start in the top left, which is over here for you, and it's going to be half the size of the screen each way, so I'm going to take the top quarter. I'm going to make it filled, because they're not filled by default for some reason, which again, I don't have an opinion on that. And then I'm going to set the color, and I'm going to set it equal to Octothorpe 493922. Is this gonna show me a rectangle? Oh, it's not? Did I forget to do something? You're leaving me hanging here. You're gonna make me figure it out myself. Okay, all right. I'm gonna run the code, and if it doesn't work, it's all your fault. Ah, the rectangle didn't show up. Fine, I'm gonna glad the rectangle. I know that's what you want me to do. Okay, right? Whatever. And so my claim is that this color is the same as the color like right there, which is the operation I tried to carry out. So this was cool and fun, probably. We think so? You think this was cool and fun? You all think this was cool? Okay, I think it's cool and fun. But I'm what they refer to as a huge nerd. Okay. So back to cats. We're going to do something even more fun than this, which is now we're going to try and make the ASCII art now that we've played around with pixel array. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go through all of these operations, but I'm now going to loop over the pixels. So I'm going to blah, 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 get rid of all of this stuff, except cats.png. It no longer matters how big my window is, so I'm going to make a little one. I'm also not going to add my cat to the image. I'm just going to look at the pixels, and I'm just going to print the pixels out naively. Okay. So that's all of the information, right? So we can say, hey, wouldn't it be a lot cooler if we turned that into a visualization of some kind? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that by looping over the pixels. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for row in pixels, for column in row, print pixels, I don't know. Oh, I guess I'm just going to print a column, right? Okay, what's that going to be? And this is now printing everything in its own line. I guess I should say for pixel and row. But I can do one other thing. I can say gimage get red of pixel. And these are all values in the range from 0 to 255, which is how bright our image is. Okay. Now, I'm looking at a lot of pixels. but I probably don't have to look at all of them. So I'm going to speed this up a lot by looking at every 20th pixel. Did it make sense what I did there? That is, I'm taking pixels, but I'm taking a slice. And I'm taking every 20th thing in pixels. A pixel is a list, or pixels is a list of integers. So I'm taking every 20th element of the list. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take every 20th column and every 20th row. So there's going to be many, many fewer numbers. Okay? Now, my claim, and I make this claim on the slides, is that when I look at my kitty cat, I think my kitty cat is redder than the sort of blanket she is sleeping on top of. Now, a lot of people think that this might look like a human bed. That's incorrect. Only cats are allowed to sleep in this bed. I know that because I try and sleep in it every night, and every night a cat tries to push me out of my bed, right? So anyways, this is a cat bed. It just looks like a human bed. And it is dark in color because it is brooding and full of atmosphere, much like fantasy literature, the Pacific Northwest, and my favorite film, Nosferatu. Okay, so we have a highly red colored kitty, and we have a highly not red colored thing around it. But there's probably some red down here. This is pretty bright in color. So, what are we going to do with that? Let's just check to see if the red is greater than 255 divided by 2. And we get a bunch of trues and a bunch of falses. But we don't actually have to just print true or false. We can print some ASCII art. So we can say, if this is true, that was loud. We're going to print a character with a lot of stuff in it, which is, I always think of 0 as being relatively filled in. Why is that so indented? And then else, we are going to print dot. Okay. And so this is going to give us some dots and some zeros in various places. But they're all still on their own line. So how do I really need to do this? Well, for every row, I'm going to create a string that's going to have nothing in it. I'm going to add different values to the string based on different pixel values. And then at the end of the row, I'm going to print the string. Is that true? Okay. This would be for every pixel, so I'm changing it to be for every row. Oh my gosh. Never mind, I can't do that. I don't have the manual dexterity. Okay. So for every row, I'm going to create a row string. There is probably a graceful way to not type that a bunch of times. And then I'm going to print the row string. And that might start kind of looking like a cat. I don't know. Is this persuasive to all of you? Are you convinced yet? We see the similarity, right? You're really leaving me hanging today, and that's okay. I'm not bitter. Okay. Looked like this this cat is wider than this cat, so I'm gonna do a few more things per row. That's looking like a little closer to me. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is what I did. Have I taught you about join yet? Do you care about join? I don't care about join. Let's just keep growing. Okay, so my claim is this is what I did. See, we got, I think this part's the easiest to tell. There's 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 2 zeros, and 1 0. Let's make this big. Why is it not big? What? It's not in beginning. 4 zeros. Can I zoom in? 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 2 zeros, 1 0. 4 zeros, 4 0, 2 0, 1 0. 0 3 1. Or 1 3 1. 2 1 2. 2 1 2. So this is the same information. My claim is that's awesome. Was that at all awesome? Maybe a little bit awesome. Okay. Last thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to write all of that text to a file instead of printing it in the terminal. And I'm just going to follow this guideline from W3 Schools. I like this a little better than the textbook, so I just sent you a link to it. The textbook.
The one that we all have.
Yes, the textbook you all have. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're taking CS1, right? Home, syllabus, textbook. Where is it?
It's at the top.
Is it? It was at the top. Sorry, it's the option. It's the textbook. Programming in Python.
Pretty big.
It's like 900 pages or something, right?
That's pretty big.
Sorry, 482. Yes, so the textbook.
Yeah, the one that we all knew this class had. Right?
Yes, we all knew this class had it.
Because I read the syllabus.
Are you? One of us is owned right now, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe we're both owned. Okay. Files. Anyways, somewhere in here. Open? I don't know how the textbook works. So anyways, I like W3 Schools better. And the reason for that is when I type file Python into the internet. Oh, look, it's the first result. It came up ahead of AI results. That's how popular it is. Are any of you more popular than AI? Right, I know. AI has a lot of friends these days. It's got some real parasocial super fans, right? We're all simping for AI. I guess I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say the word simp in class. Okay, but all right. So here's how things work. I also gave you my description. So let's just run this file. I want to hold on to this because it was sort of a lot of work to get this to work. So we'll put this in. We'll save this as W3. And then when I run that, what happens? Okay. This is a little more fun if we have this screen open up over here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete a Rooney that. And what's going to happen? Okay, so we got all of our different files here, right? And I'm going to press play. And what's going to happen? Demo file 3 shows up. Why does demo file 3 show up? Because I'm opening demo file 3 in W mode. What's W stand for? Write. W-R-I-T. Right? Would have got me too. I thought it was win mode. And then what do we say? Whoops, I deleted the content. Why do we say that? Because every time you open this, it deletes the old stuff in there. So if, for example, you were to instead say, does anyone know how to spell shenanigans? I just, I felt my blood pressure go up when I thought the word shenanigans, then realized I had to spell it in front of all of you.
I think it has 2 N's in the first.
No.
No.
I think you should put 2 N's in there anyway.
Yeah, sure.
It's shenanigans. You can spell it how you want.
Do.
It's very
Shenanigans.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of N's. Okay.
Looks fine to me.
We can hit it with a bamboozle angle. I know how to spell that one. Yep. Okay. And so what happens every time? Oh, there's a file that just says bamboozle in it. Okay, right. And then what am I doing here? I am opening the file in read mode, and then I am showing what I read in the file. Well, since we are super duper omega geniuses, we can do this with our cat ASCII art. So I'm going to open a file, and instead of printing, I'm going to open a file. Okay. So we're going to create, we'll call it ASCII, or we'll call it art, is going to be equal to, what was it? It was fopen? No, it's open. Okay, open. I'm going to use the official English language spelling of cat, which is kite with an H. And what am I going to do with this file? Well, over here previously what I do is I said f.write, and so I'm going to f-write something. And I think I should f-write all of the things I was printing previously. So I'm actually going to change this to f-write, but I'm going to call it art-write because I named my file art. And then I have to move this art that I opened up all the way up here before I begin my loop. Okay? And is this code going to work? There's probably nothing wrong with this, right?
You're missing a parenthesis now.
I'm missing a parenthesis?
Yeah, art dot right.
Oh, perhaps right here in this line? All right, well, that's good. Thank you for pointing that out. I would have just run my code and it would have exploded.
So if it still doesn't work, it'll be worse than, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying.
I believe in whatever you're saying, whatever it is.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Wait, there's just a file called list? That's crazy. I'm deleting that. Okay. So let's look at Kitty. Oh no! Oh no! I just realized there's an unmitigated catastrophe going on here. Just a complete disaster. Maybe the worst thing that has ever happened to anyone ever. And possibly worse than that. Which is that there's only one line in this file. Because for some reason, and I love Python, so don't take this out of context, Python, the language that I hate, for some reason it puts new lines at the end of print statements and not at the end of write statements. Now, I would have thought those two were basically the same thing, but not to worry, I have an ingenious plan. I'm just going to put a new line here. And then I have my kitty.
No.
This kitty doesn't quite fit. Minus? Oh, I accidentally typed something in there. Okay, so this is how you create files of cats. You can see the cat.
Somewhere in the middle.
Do you think this would be more fun with lists?
Possibly.
Let's pop it open. Where's the file? Where's my file?
I still stick at that.
It kind of still looks like a cat. Is there pictures of mountains? Is this gonna work? Let's try this one. Oh wait, no, we got to go on. Sorry, we have to Wikipedia it so it's legal. The real reason we're making sure it's legal is okay. Yeah, why not? Copy image link. Quick, we only have 1 minute left. Curl mountain.jpg. I need the O. I need the O. O mountain. Auto parts. Ow! Okay. Was it a JPEG or okay?
It was a JPEG.
Boo! I have no idea if this is going to work. Remember, we're only checking red, and the justification for checking red levels was that my cat is red. So that's why nothing works.
Check blue. Wow. That's mountains.
Somehow very good.
Somehow. Well, it used to be mountains.
All right, see you around. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Which doesn't really narrow things down much. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah. If we added more colors, that would check with different letters.
Yeah, right. You don't have to only use 2 letters.
I did craft my career a couple times. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to not.
Yeah, there's just some more weird stuff. This stuff. They should let me know the Google so I can.
What? Ow!
Oh wait, let me turn off the recording before you say anything.